And there you have it. We cannot have nice things. So breaking news, as I channel my inner Tim Pool with my beanie on, Spider-Man is leaving the MCU. From Homecoming to Far From Home to now what? Homewrecker? Pretty much. So my newsfeed has been inundated with the news of Spider-Man leaving the Marvel MCU, right? So I saw this really first from my friends at Two Fanboys and a Filthy Casual, and then I saw everyone posting it from IGN News and all this stuff. So I needed to be part of the conversation and the news, what's going on. So in Tim Pool fashion, before I read the news, go ahead and go on Instagram and follow me, help me build my channel. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm not monetized because I'm not there yet. I'm not deranked because I'm not there yet either. But help me build my channel. And this is not my usual norm. I'm just trying to play fun with Tim Pool because, you know, he's one of the news guys I listen to on the daily. So much love to him. But if I hear him say Occam's razor one more time, I'm gonna probably unsubscribe. Just kidding. So in Tim fashion, I'm going to read from Deadline, and they say, sources said there are 2 more Spider-Man films in the works, and studio hopes to have director John Watts and Tom Holland front and center. Though Watts doesn't have a deal for the next picture and isn't in lock to return. That isn't helped by the fact that unless something dramatic happens, Feige won't be the lead creative producer in those films. More so, there is a lot of webbing here, but it all comes down to money, and it is easy to understand why both refuse to give ground. Disney asked the future Spider-Man films to be a 50-50 co-financing arrangement between the studios, and there have been discussions that this might extend to the other films in the Spider-Man universe. Sony turned that offer down flat. Sources said that Sony, led by Tom Rothman and Tony Vinciquerra, came back with another counter-figurations, but Disney didn't want to do that. But Sony did not want to share its biggest franchise. Sure, Disney would be putting up half its funding, but the risk is in how much you are going to make back in profit. Disney wasn't at all interested in continuing the current terms where Marvel receives in the range of 5% of first dollar gross, sources says. So again, Occam's razor, this seems like greedy on both sides. But I mean, when I mentioned this news with my friends at work, well, we just started talking about the whole deal about this, and we dug into what was the deal, what was going on. You know, we went through talking about, like, I think in the first contracts with Sony and Marvel is only getting the merchandise out of this, and only the 5%, right? And all the revenue out of the movies is going straight to Sony, right? And like the merchandise alone is in the billions of dollars. So for Marvel to put in asking for more money does seem kind of like more of a greedy grab, you know, but it also seems like the 50-50 financing, because it looks like Sony was putting 100% in financing and then they're getting the money back, rather than now it's trying to be a 50-50 type thing. So oh my goodness, I don't know, man. Okay, so straight up, they need to come to the table and figure things out, because this is gonna hurt both sides. And I'll get into that, because I broke this down. Me and my co-worker Walt, my homeboy, man, like we were talking it down, like the whole spiel about it. And so yeah, I'll break that down. But let's read some further. They say. Sorry, I'm just channeling my inner Tim Pool. Now, it's easy to say that Feige has enough on his plate, especially with taking control of the X-Men universe and in the Fox acquisition, including the Deadpool franchise, along with architecting the next phase of Marvel superhero universe and building movies in shows for the Disney Plus. But I'm told Feige loves Spider-Man, arguably the biggest superhero character in the Marvel canon. I agree. Spider-Man is like if Superman is iconic, Batman iconic, and Wonder Woman iconic, Spider-Man is the most iconic character in the Marvel universe. Back to the thing, they say he would be continued if Disney and Sony would have reached a new deal terms. Essentially, this means that Sony will have to win a championship without Michael Jordan. Oh, they're using a sport reference. Jeez, I'm like, Michael B. Jordan. Okay. They say after all, Feige's first a decade at Marvel is largely unblemished, and his consistency has been nothing short of historic. Yeah. Even George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and Peter Jackson haven't seen everything turn into a hit. And so maybe only James Cameron has the success record that Feige has achieved. But Feige has done it all in the last 10 years, producing and overseeing 23 superheroes and not a flop in the bunch. Yeah. I mean, I guess they're still profitable, but there have been many movies in the Marvel MCU movies that have been kind of boring, Dark World, Thor Dark World. They say they all been number one openers that have been collectively gross 26.8 billion. Feige this year became the producer of the top grossing film ever for two studios, Sony and Disney. And then again, I can post all that, and I'm going to post that in the description. You can read further what Deadline has to report and everything. But let's just go down into the nitty-gritty of all of this stuff. So, like I said, this is everyone's best interest is to keep everything together, right? And it's like, I mean, I don't know how that will come about, but man, like, okay, so from reading other sources, I think Spider-Man has like 2 more movies in the MCU, and then they're gonna call quits unless something dramatically happens and they come to the table again. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what they're gonna plan to do. I mean, Spider-Man has been set up to lead the MCU here on forward. Excuse me. And without Tom Holland's Spider-Man, I really don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, he needs to be the face of the MCU. And then let's say, like, it goes back to Sony. Sony, I don't think can use Tom Holland. And let's say even if they did use Tom Holland, right? You can't use Tony Stark and his experiences in the Infinity War saga. And so what? You have a Tom Holland that you has built, but you don't have it built. Like, you can't use that Tom Holland, and so therefore you're gonna reboot. If you're gonna reboot, Sony's gonna just put themselves in a deep hole. Like, there are people who are already boycotting if they do this, right? And I do not blame them. I don't know where that left on. So again, me and my friend Walt were going back and forth talking about how this will all work out, and like we were pretty much saying, and I agree with him, he was saying that if Sony they did it a little too early, and of course we don't know what's been going behind the doors and all this stuff. Maybe they have been discussing this so far, and it just now we're just learning about this, and hopefully, I don't know, I'm being optimistic, and hopefully they can make an arrangement. But anyway, my friend was saying that Sony played their hand too quickly. What they should have done if they were smart is introduce more Sony properties into Marvel, the MCU, right? So Black Cat maybe with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Kraven the Hunter in Wakanda. And so if you build these characters more, not just Spider-Man, now you have all these other characters delve in the MCU, and now Sony's like, okay, well, we want to renegotiate, or we pull all these characters that's already in the MCU, and then MCU is like, well, now all you're going to mess up our continuity, and Marvel's big on continuity, right? And so if you're going to mess up our continuity, we have to come to a better agreement with Sony in the upper hand, right? But I don't know, we can lose Spider-Man. Marvel can lose Spider-Man. Like, obviously it's not ideal, but they have Fantastic Four in the pocket. They have the X-Men in their pocket. They can, if needed, move on without Spider-Man. No one wants that. No one wants that. But they could, and if Sony does have their own, like I said over and over, if Sony has their own Spider-Man universe, with or without Tom Holland, they essentially need a reboot. And there's been 3 Spider-Man reboots, right? And to have a 4th one on the table, no one is gonna be down for that, right? Oh, man, like, it's like, as much as I love Tom Holland, right? If you reboot it, 1, the fans are not gonna be happy. 2, Tom Holland doesn't. Even though he's my Spider-Man now, he's not. Though what makes Tom Holland works is his exchange, his experiences with Tony Stark, his experience with Captain America, you know, like Brooklyn, Queens, you know, like, and his whole Infinity Saga, right? We have built this character to love this character, right? And to reboot this, like, even if you have Tom Holland, right, you can't have any of those experiences. So you're gonna fail right off the bat if Sony just goes under their Sony universe with Spider-Man. I don't know. I mean, like, again, me and my coworker were talking about, like, Into the Spider-Verse was dope, right? But translating that into live action, that's a whole different thing, right? And oh man, it's just like, what can you do, man? Like, this totally is like super crazy. Like, we just got Spider-Man, right? Like, we have 5 movies with him: Civil War, Homecoming, Infinity War, Endgame, Far From Home. I mean, like, we love him, right? And well, I love him, and to have this all go down, oh, I don't know, man. Like, I understand there's money involved and they need to work it out, but dude, they need to come to a better conclusion, because both sides are gonna hurt, like, more Sony than Marvel, I believe, because again, Sony needs to fork it up, because no one, like, everyone's gonna boycott this. Everyone is gonna boycott. If people who are Star Wars fans for life are willing to boycott the next Star Wars movie out of spite, you don't think that we're gonna do it for the new Spider-Man, for the return of Spider-Man to the Sony universe? Hell to the, we will. Oh my goodness, we will boycott. Like, as much as I love watching movies and see what they want to do, whatever. Some people are like a little optimistic again, what they would want Spider-Man go back and do. But man, dude, I'm ranting and I'm thinking all over the place. But it's just really crazy that this is happening. And oh, man, but you know what? I tell my coworker, like, you know, I am optimistic. I am optimistic that they can make an arrangement. They can come to a better financial whatever, 60-40, whatever, 30-70, whatever. But dude, or maybe like, dude, like just 45-45 and then 10% to a donation, like to like a hospital. Like, make everyone love the MCU. Like, oh my goodness, I don't know. I don't know what they have in store, for us, but definitely I wanted to share and be part of this conversation and breaking news, because I know everyone's going to be talking about this. I have, again, like I said, my Facebook is inundated with all this conversation, and so everyone is like in speculation mode and in almost in grief again. We just got Spider-Man back, not only to the MCU, but like like back from the blip, and then now we have prospects of him being quote unquote dead again. Oh man, you're toying with our emotions here, and so yeah, okay. Thanks for watching. Again, I channeling my inner Tim Pool. This is not what I normally do, but it was just my way of having fun and doing this. But again, I do. If you're new to my channel, I do entertainment, culture, purpose on my channel. You can follow me on my Instagram for real at HeyMitchMitch. And again, you can follow where I do like TV movie reviews on my channel. Also talk about like military and everything, and talking about purpose as well. So I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Continue the conversation some more in the comments below. let me know your thoughts, your theories, what's going to happen, what are you excited, your best case scenarios, your worst case scenarios. Do you think I was right in my speculation and analysis with me and my friends talking and going back and forth? Just keep on going. So yeah, so definitely we'll see what's going to happen in the future of the MCU, but yeah, I mean, if we have no more Spider-Man, we have no more Spider-Man, but I would love to have Spider-Man back. But if not, I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige is gonna pull on the X-Men card real quick. So, alright, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace!